Hi yogis, Darrion here at Blue Moon Yoga Clovis. We miss you guys so much. We hope you guys are doing well and staying healthy in this quarantine. Today I have a 45-minute hip opening yoga class planned for you guys. So you guys can roll out your mat, get any props that you may need ready, perhaps a blanket for Shavasana, and we'll go ahead and get started. So we'll go ahead and start in child's pose today. So coming to the mat, you can separate the knees apart, bring the toes to touch at the back of the mat, and go ahead and sink the hips back to the heels. Stretch the arms forward and go ahead and melt the torso just down toward the earth. Forehead comes to maybe rest comfortably on the mat. And take this moment just to arrive. Come into the four corners of your mat, arrive into this space, and just become present. Start to acknowledge the body, the breath, and your overall energy. Taking a full body scan to help you build some awareness here. And start at the crown of the head. And gradually, slowly, just shift your attention, work your way all the way down to the tips of the toes. And just noticing maybe where you may be holding on to some tension here, some tightness, maybe any area that feels sticky and stagnant, and just noticing, just becoming aware of those spaces so that we can begin to release them. And as you scan through the body, feeling the body soften, sink heavier, begin to switch your attention to your breath. Noticing how the inhales and the exhales move. See if you can maybe begin to lengthen them out a little bit more. So drawing the inhales all the way down into the root of the belly and then letting them fill the chest. And then maybe opening the mouth and sighing that out if that feels good, letting something go, grounding yourself down further. Inhaling in through the nose to the belly, filling the chest, maybe sucking in more air. Exhaling, letting it go. Inhaling, love and light. And exhaling, releasing all the things that don't serve you. Take a couple more breaths here. Feeling the torso grow heavy, the hips sink down to that space you've created between the legs. Let's go for maybe one or two more breaths. And gradually begin to invite a little bit of life into your fingers. And begin to walk the hands back, maybe just 6 inches to a foot, bringing the hands a little bit closer towards you. Let's go ahead and separate the knees further apart, maybe mat width distance if that's comfortable. Settle in. And then spread the fingers nice and wide. Find that grip into the earth. As you inhale, go ahead and start to shift forward, letting the shoulders shift over the wrists, allowing the hips to lower down to the mat. Exhale, send the hips all the way back to the heels, this wide leg child's pose, melt all the way down. And we'll take a couple more. Inhale, pulse forward, lowering the hips as you keep the legs in that diamond shape behind you. Exhale, send the hips back to the heels, child. Let's take 2 more. Inhale, move with the breath, shift forward, lowering the hips maybe a little bit lower if that feels good. Lift the chest. Exhale, send the hips back to the heels. Melt down. Last one. Inhale, shift forward. And exhale, send the hips back. Child's pose. Sink in, melt down. Full breath in. Full breath out. Press into the hands, and as you inhale, go ahead and shift forward. Find a neutral tabletop. So bringing the knees underneath the hips, wrist directly underneath the shoulders. So finding that press into the earth so that you find that slight protraction of the shoulders. Navel pulls in and up, and there's a long line of energy from the crown of the head out through the tailbone. Let's step our left knee in slightly. And we're gonna kick back through the right heel, energize that heel up to the sky. Imagine that you're holding a tray up with that right foot. We're gonna take a deep breath in here. And then as you exhale, we're going to take some circles, going maybe clockwise first, taking big circles around with that hip. Keep that right foot flexed, that 90-degree angle with the knee. Take maybe one or two more circles. And we'll find a good space to stop, and we'll switch directions. Circles going counterclockwise, lubricating through that right hip. We'll take this last circle. Let's end in a fire hydrant pose so that right knee is hiked up to the sky, right toes are flexed back towards you, just like a dog lifting his leg. Take a deep breath in here. As you exhale, bring that knee back down to hover, and then inhale, extend it back up to lift that tray. Exhale, lower down to hover. Inhale, fire hydrant, kick it up. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, let's do one more. Inhale, fire hydrant up. Exhale to hover, and kick back through that right heel. Bring this right knee all the way back down to meet the mat. Tabletop, separate the knees, hip width distance, and we'll move through some cat and cows. Inhaling, as you drop the belly low, lift the chest, lift the tailbone, draw the shoulders back, and then shift the gaze high. Exhale as you squeeze out every last bit of air. Draw the navel into the spine. Tuck the chin into the chest. Drop the head heavy. Inhale, drop the belly. Move with the breath. Full length of the inhale through. Exhale, squeezing out every last bit of air, taking this to angry cat. Inhale, drop the belly. Lift the chest. Lift the heart. Look up. Exhale, squeeze out all of that air, navel to spine. Let's go for maybe 2 or 3 rounds here at your own breath. So just take this moment to lubricate through the spine. Maybe move outside of this structure if that feels good. Take this opportunity to connect to Ujjayi breathing if that's right for you. That little restriction at the base of the throat. And we'll finish up with that final round of cat and cow. And we'll meet back into neutral tabletop. Let's set this right knee in just to center our balance. And we'll go ahead and fire hydrant, left knee out, flex the toes back towards you. Start to take some circles, one direction, maybe starting clockwise, lubricating through that left hip joint. Keep the toes flexed, 90-degree angle with that knee. 1 or 2 more circles. And then we'll find a good spot to stop, switch directions. Maybe making these smaller or bigger if that feels right for you. Finishing up with our final circles, we'll meet in this fire hydrant. So flexing the toes back towards you, driving the left knee up. Take a deep breath in here. As you exhale, lower the left knee to hover, and then inhale, send back through that left heel. Exhale to lower. Inhale, fire hydrant. Exhale. Inhale. Building some strength in the glute and the hips. Healthy hips, strong hips. Let's go for 2 more. Inhale back, exhale, hover. Inhale, exhale. Last one. And we'll meet, let that left knee come back to the mat, tabletop. Spread nice and wide through your fingers here. Really grip into the earth. Make sure the shoulders stack directly over the wrist, hips over knees, navel pulls in. Let's tuck our toes, lift our hips. Downward facing dog. Pedal the feet here. So right, left, right, left. You can shake the head, yes, shake it, no. Anything you need to kind of help you find this shape. So spreading the fingers nice and wide, pressing the hands into the earth to press the chest, the head, the whole body away from the earth, hiking the tailbone, the hips nice and high up to the sky. Breathe in and breathe out. Let's begin to walk the hands to the back of the mat, meeting the feet in forward fold. Take your time. Once hands meet the back of the mat, let's go ahead and separate the feet maybe about mat width distance, just under. Go ahead and hang heavy. Grab for opposite elbows. Find that waterfall pose. If a little bend in the knees feels good, you can find that. Encourage the head to be heavy. And go ahead and release the hands toward the earth. Catch the floor. And we're going to sink the hips into our deep Malasana squat. So spin the toes out to 10 and 2. Let the hips sink down between the heels. So here in your deep Malasana squat, take your time. There's no rush. Maybe rock right and left. Let the hips come down. And when you're ready, we'll bring the hands to heart center. Using the elbows as leverage to open the knees up, grow tall through the spine, through the crown of the head. Breathe in and breathe out. Maybe close the eyes for another breath in. Another breath out. Let the eyes float open if they're closed. Reach the arms out in front of you. Root strong through the feet as you inhale, grow tall. Reach the arms up to frame the ears. Point the toes forward. And then exhale, bring the hands down to the small of the back. Interlace grip, webbing to webbing. Inhale, pull the fist toward the earth. Open the chest, open the heart, look up. As you exhale, bend in the knees, fold forward. Once the crown of the head is heavy, maybe let the arms fall overhead, opening the shoulders. You can keep that micro bend in the knees if that feels good. Maybe straighten through the legs to take it into the backside, or maybe bend through one knee, play with opening up the shoulders. Switching sides as it feels right. Come back through center. Slowly, mindfully bring the hands back to the small of the back. Let them slide all the way down the legs. Catch the floor, and then start to walk the hands out in front of you. Come back into downward facing dog. Hands root into the earth, tailbone hikes high, crown of the head is heavy. Navel pulls in and up. Keep pressing the hands away from you. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Root down into that left foot. Let's all inhale, reach that right leg up to the sky. Three-legged dog. Let's let that hip open here. So that right foot is heavy. Starts to hang toward the left side of the mat, letting that knee start to weigh over, letting that hip spill open. You can stay here, let this leg be heavy. If you are really open in the hips, sometimes it feels good to straighten through that right leg, point through the toes, energize out, and then pull that right leg all the way to the left side. Choice is yours. Just move through whatever feels good. If some movement feels good through the hip, through the knee, maybe play with keeping that leg straight. And coming back into three-legged dog, take a deep breath in here. As you exhale, tiger curl the knee to the nose, step the foot in between the two hands. Energize out through that left heel, drop the left knee down, untuck the toes. Squeeze those inner thighs together, and when you're ready, inhale to Anjaneyasana, low lunge. So take your time, really root down into this front right foot, let the hips come down and forward, tailbone is tucked. Arms reach up, framing the ears, grow tall out of the crown of the head. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, see if you can settle deeper into the hips here. Bring the hands, interlace the grip, and bring the hands to the back of the head. Supported back bend, take a deep breath in. And then as you exhale, start to lean back, start to push the hips forward. Pretend that somebody's pushing the elbows back, driving the heart open. Inhale here. Exhale, release. Hands catch the floor to frame the foot. Let's send the hips back. Flex the right toes back towards you. Walk the hands back to frame this right leg. Take an inhale to find a halfway lift. Lengthening out through the crown of the head, long straight spine. Exhale, hinge deeper over that right leg. So pretending that you can maybe inch your way closer, getting your belly, your chest closer toward that right leg. Head is heavy. Take another deep breath in and deep breath out. Use your next inhale. Shift forward, ground into that front right leg. Hands frame the foot, tuck the left toes. Send this right foot all the way back to downward dog. We'll take a vinyasa flow here. Inhale, roll forward just like a wave to high plank. Drop the knees if you need to modify. Inhales, inch forward. Exhales, lower halfway. Inhale, scoop your heart forward. Lower high cobra, upward dog if you feel ready. Draw the shoulders back, look up. Exhale, send the hips back, downward facing dog. 3 breaths, in through the nose, out through the nose. Rooting down into that right foot. Inhale, reach the left leg high. 3-legged dog, let that hip open, bend in the knee, or keep the leg straight, energize out through the left toes. Choice is yours. Maybe find movement through the hip, through the knee, lubricating through that left hip. Maybe play with keeping the leg straight. We'll meet back in 3-legged dog. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, tiger curl, knee to nose, drop that foot between the 2 hands. Energize out through that right heel, find length, and then drop the knee down, top of the toes. Squeeze the inner thighs together, and then inhale to sweep the arms high to frame the ears, Anjaneyasana. Squeeze the inner thighs together, so there's some contraction here, and then let the hips sink lower. Arms frame the ears, breathe in, release the hands to the back of the head. Supported back bend, take a deep breath in, grow tall, and then as you exhale, lean back, sink deeper into the hips. Release. Hands frame the foot. Shift the hips back, half splits. Flex the left toes back towards you. Walk the hands back towards you. Inhale, halfway lift. Find that tall, straight spine. Exhale, hinge deeper. Keep that gaze out toward the front edge of your mat to keep the chest lifted. Keep growing. Breathe into the back side of that left leg. Imagining that you could inch yourself closer to the top of that leg. On your next inhale, ground back down into that left foot, knee over ankle, hands frame the foot. Right toes tuck, send this left leg all the way back to downward dog. Take your vinyasa flow, inhale forward. Exhale, chaturanga. Meeting back in downward dog. Take a breath in and a breath out. Root down into that left foot. Inhale, right leg high. Keep the hips squared. We're going to step the foot between the 2 hands. Ground that back foot down at a 45-degree angle. Inhale, arms up. Warrior 1, Virabhadrasana 1. Take your time as you settle in here. If you have a mirror, check yourself for alignment. Right knee over right ankle. Left hip pulls forward, right hip pulls back. Tailbone is tucked. Arms reach high. Settle in, sink deeper, breathe in. As you exhale, release your hands. Interlaced grip, webbing to webbing. Inhale, pull the fist toward the mat. Look up, open the heart. As you exhale, hinge from the hips. Right shoulder to the inside of the right knee, humble warrior. Crown of the head is heavy, let the arms fall overhead. Getting into the shoulders, the back of the heart space, breathe. And as you exhale, release the hands. Let them slide down to frame this right foot. Bring the hands to the inside of this right foot. Pivot all 10 toes toward the left, and we're going to come into Skandasana, low lunge, low side lunge. So flexing the left toes back towards you, energizing those toes up to the sky, finding that length, that energy along the back side of the left leg. Grounding down into this right foot. If you have the flexibility, heel is down. If not, heel is up. Hands are on the earth, or maybe hands at heart center and namaskar. Ground down, feel into the hips, maybe close the eyes. Listen up. Tricky transition, we can either keep our hands on the earth for support if we need, otherwise we'll keep hands at heart center. Ground this left foot into the mat, stay low, we're gonna come right into goddess pose. Point the toes out at 10 and 2, sink the hips down, tuck the tailbone. Hands to the knees, take a deep breath in, grow tall. As you exhale, right shoulder down. See if you can shift the gaze over the left, feel that twist in the spine. Inhale through center. Exhale, left shoulder down, gaze over the right. One more to each side. Inhale, exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale back through center, using the hands for support if we need, otherwise they come to heart center. Skandasana to the back of the mat, straightening through that right leg, bending into the left knee, ground down into that left foot, pull the right toes back towards you, energize out through the back of this leg. Breathe in and breathe out. Close the eyes if it feels good. Find that balance. Go ahead and release the hands down. We're going to pivot to the back of the mat, so all 10 toes are going to point to the back side. Ground the back foot down at a 45-degree angle. Inhale, arms up, warrior one. So we've been here before. This time our right hip pulls forward, left hip pulls back. Sink down into the hips, tuck the tailbone. Breathe in, release the hands. Find that interlace grip, webbing to webbing. Inhale, pull the fist down. See if you can take this back bend deeper. Exhale, hinge from the hips. Left shoulder to the inside of the left knee. Drop the head heavy. Engage the core, little to no weight on that front left leg. Exhale, release the hands. Catch the floor to frame that left foot. We're going to stay tall through the legs. Pivot all the way to the inside right edge of the mat, wide leg forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Keep the gaze low to lengthen through the neck, the spine. As you exhale, drop a little bit deeper. You can walk the hands between the legs. Find that maybe 90-degree angle with the arms. Use that as leverage to pull the crown of the head closer toward the earth. Option to maybe grab the outer edges of the feet, the heels, a big toe, and flare the elbows out to the side is another option. Energizing down through the heels, lifting through the tailbone, stretching through IT band. Breathe in and breathe out. And release. Bring the hands to the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, walk the hands back to the front edge of your mat. Pivot all 10 toes. Hands grip or frame this right foot. Send this right foot all the way back to high plank. And we'll take our chaturanga. Exhale, downward dog. Breathe in. Open up the mouth, sigh it out if you need. Good. Root down into that right foot. Inhale, root down into the left. Inhale, right foot reaches high. Exhale, step the right foot between the two hands. Use all the strength of the core. Ground the back foot down at a 90-degree angle. Inhale, cartwheel the arms up. Warrior two. So take your time. Widen your stance if you need. Bending deeply into this right knee. Energizing out through the outer edge of that left foot. Knee over ankle. There's a sense of buoyancy in the arms here, like our arms are floating on water. Take a deep breath in. Jersey point is past that front right middle finger. Breathe in. Exhale, reverse. Right arm reaches behind you. Open the heart, open the chest. Keep hinging into that knee. And as you exhale, extended side angle. Hands cartwheel down, right arm down. Inhale, left arm up. Stay here, maybe decide to bind. Right hand is underneath the right thigh. Left hand reaches behind you. If you make that connection, pull the heart open, look up, and release the bind. Come back through center, warrior two. And exhale, cartwheel the hands down. Send this right foot all the way back to three-legged dog. And take this flow with the right leg lifted. Maybe lower it, maybe skip. And we'll meet back in downward dog. Inhale, left leg up. Exhale, step it through. Ground the back foot down at a 90-degree. Cartwheel the hands up, warrior two. So again, widening the stance if needed. Energizing out through the outer edge of that right foot, bending deeply into the left knee. Arms are floating on water, looking past that front left middle finger. Deep breath in. Exhale, reverse. Drawing the left shoulder back, reaching that right arm somewhere behind you. Breathe in. Exhale, cartwheel to extended side angle. Left arm down, right arm up. Sink deeper into the hips, energize out through the right foot, maybe take a bind. Draw the heart open. Release the arms. Inhale back through center. Exhale, cartwheel the hands down. Send this left leg back to three-legged dog. And take your vinyasa flow. Maybe that left leg lifts up, maybe not. Downward facing. We'll slow it down just a bit before we make our way to our peak pose today. Lifting that right leg all the way back up to the sky. As you exhale, we'll make our way to pigeon. So stepping right foot behind the left wrist, lowering that right knee down to the right corner. Take a look behind you. Make sure that left leg is in a nice long line. Hip, knee, ankle. Flex the right toes back towards you. Let's take a minute to square the hips. Walk the hands back. Lift the chest, lift the heart, find that back bend, look up, draw the shoulders back. Exhale, make your way to wherever is comfortable, sleeping pigeon, deeper. If a back bend is in your practice and you'd like to maybe take this into a mermaid, a king pigeon, or any other variation that's in your practice, it's always encouraged. And just dropping in, tuning into whatever sensations arise on the outside of that right hip. Asking yourself how you can better serve your pigeon. We'll be here for about another 4 to 6 big inhales, big exhales. Use these last few breaths to ask yourself if you need to create space to go deeper, or give yourself permission to back away. Another deep breath in, deep breath out. Begin to wake your pigeon, pressing back onto your palms, lifting your chest. Go ahead and tuck your left toes behind you. Shift weight into the palms. Send this right leg all the way back to downward facing dog. We'll take a vinyasa flow. Inhale, roll forward like a wave. Lead with the back of the heart space to high plank. Exhale, lower for Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, lower high cobra, up dog. Exhale, hips back, downward facing. Inhale, left leg up. Exhale, step it through to pigeon. Left knee, left corner, left toes to the right. Extend that right leg nice and long behind you. One big long line of energy with squared hips. Flex the toes back. Press the hands into the earth. Lift the chest, lift the gaze. Exhale, make your way down. Whatever variation that you see best fitting. Find your edge. Press into it with compassion or give yourself permission to back away. Honoring the body and what it needs, listening to what it's asking for, not what your ego is asking for. We'll be here for another 4 to 6 breaths. On your next inhale, press your palms back into the earth, lifting your chest. Right toes tuck behind you. Palms press. Send this left leg all the way back. Downward facing dog. One last vinyasa flow, only if it feels good for you. Inhale forward like a wave. Exhale, chaturanga. Open the heart, the chest. Make your way back to downward facing. Last downward facing. So take some time, pedal it out, shake it out, yes, no. Swivel the hips. Just take a moment to check in with yourself. The subtle differences in the body, the subtle shifts in the energy. Making our way back up to Malasana. So switching the gaze up between the two hands. You can either walk, step, or hop, bending through the knees and landing to the outside of the hands. Sink the hips low, toes point out to 10 and 2. And I'll go ahead and switch to face you guys. So hanging out here in Malasana, we can stay here. Maybe our hips have had enough. Maybe we're happy, we're content. You can play with a bind, maybe a crow pose if that's in your practice. If we're feeling ready to move on, try something new, we're going to go ahead and move into Bird of Paradise. So we'll start by planting our hands into the earth. Go ahead and hike the hips up to the sky. We'll find a forward fold. We'll start with our right leg. So bending into that right knee, we're going to press the right hand into the earth. Inhale, left arm up, finding this twist through the upper body, through the heart space. And then this left arm is going to reach around toward the inside of the right thigh crease. Now it's not going to stay there. And then we're going to reach this right hand underneath the right leg. We'll make a connection between the two hands here. Switch all of your weight into your left foot. Go ahead and heel toe this right foot a little bit closer to you just to find some balance. So now your feet are underneath your hips. Shift all the way into that left foot and begin to bend deeper through this right knee, pulling this right knee up toward the chest. Find your balance, find your root through that left leg. Draw your shoulders back, grow tall. Maybe this is it for you. Maybe we advance, maybe we straighten through that right foot, point through the toes, keep drawing the shoulder back to open the hip. Breathe in. Stay here. When you're ready, we'll release. With control, bend back through that right knee. Use the strength of the core to lower that right leg all the way back down to the earth. Release. Hang heavy. You can shake out the palms. Move the arms around if you need. Sometimes it does a lot on the shoulders. And then we'll move on to the next side. And keep in mind, we always have one side that's much easier than the other. And for me, my left is more difficult. So we'll take a bend in that left foot, plant the left hand down, inhale, reach the right arm up to the sky, find that twist, that open heart. Start to move into that bind. That right hand reaches around for the inside of the left thigh crease. It'll camp out here until the left hand reaches underneath the left knee. And then we make that connection between the palms. Shift the gaze back down to the earth. Shift all the weight into that right foot. Heel toe the left foot closer to the right if you need. And then we'll start to shift, grounding down into that right foot, starting to pull the left knee up into the chest. Find your root, find your balance, draw the shoulders back to open the hip. You decide if you feel stable enough, maybe lengthen, straighten through that left knee. Woo. Breathe. And luckily, we're all in the privacy of our own home, so we get to fall and no one gets to see. Let's take one more inhale. And as you exhale, slowly, with the strength of the abdominal muscles, lower that left leg all the way back down to the earth. Release the arms. Shake the head, yes. Move around. Shake it, no. Beautiful. Start to find center. Heel toe your feet together. And when you're ready, we're just going to sink all the way into this deep yogi squat. Let your bottom find the earth. Step the feet out in front of you. So take a minute, windshield wiper the legs, right, left, right, left. Release any tingly feeling that you may have built up. Good. And then from here, let's go ahead and bring the soles of the feet together. Let the knees splay out to the side, preparing for butterfly. Go ahead and move the seat bones right, left, just moving any extra flesh that might be there. Let's take an inhale, lift through the crown of the head, draw the shoulders back, draw the heart space forward. And then as you exhale, hinge from the hips. Keep drawing the heart space toward the earth, and when you can't hinge anymore, release the head heavy. And breathing. One day, seeing if we can get our nose to touch our toes. Doesn't need to happen today. It's just a goal, an endpoint one day. Keep the chin tucked into the chest. As you inhale, start to round up. Find that tall, straight spine. Go ahead and bring the hands to the outside of the knees, just like a good book. Start to close the knees together. Step the feet out in front of you, and we'll make our way all the way onto our spines. Once you make your way onto your back, go ahead and bring the knees into the chest with you. Find that softening if you need to rock and roll right and left or up and down. Just releasing any tension that may be accumulated in the spine. And from here, let's go ahead and lengthen out through that left leg. Pull that right knee in toward wind removing pose. So webbing to webbing grip around the front of the right shin, avoiding the rib cage the best you can. Pull the knee down toward the armpits. Flex the left toes back towards you if you feel that calf lift. Breathe into that pinching sensation that may be coming up on that right hip. Relax through the shoulders. And we'll take this into supine twist. Right arm reaches out to the side. Breathe in. And use that exhale to guide the right leg all the way across the body toward the left side of the mat. See if you can shift the gaze past the right shoulder. Total twist through the spine. Breathing into the back side of the body. And twisting out any toxins, just like a dirty wash rag. In your next inhale, unravel back through center. And go ahead, bring the left knee in to meet the right. Extend out through that right leg. So switch just like a bicycle, interlace the hands around the left shin, pull that knee toward your armpit, avoiding the rib cage, flexing the right toes if you need to ground that calf. Find that pinching sensation, breathe into it, using the strength of the arms to get into one last hip opener. Extend the left arm out to the side. And as you exhale, supine twist, guide the left leg all the way toward the right side. Twisting through the spine, reinforce that left shoulder into the earth, and take the gaze toward the left side. Relax through the shoulders, release any tension, let go of the breath. Start to breathe a little bit more naturally, just in and out through the nose. Let the breath soften. On your next inhale, chin, left knee comes back through center. Right knee comes in to meet the left. And our final posture today is going to be a happy baby. So taking those peace sign fingers, hooking them around the big toes or the outer edges of the feet if that's more comfortable for you. And we'll start to open up. Stack the heels over the knees, actively using the strength of the arms to pull the knees to either side of the body, opening up the hips. Flex the toes back towards you. Imagine that you're holding the world up with your feet. You can rock from right and left, straighten one leg, straighten another. Sometimes it feels really good to take those lion's breath here. So maybe opening up or taking a big inhale in through the nose, filling the belly, the chest with the biggest breath, and then opening the mouth, sticking out the tongue, letting it go, exhaling fully. And when you're ready, go ahead and bring the soles of the feet together. Grab around the outer edges of the feet. Bring the feet close to the hips. Send the knees out to the sides. Bound angle pose. Keep the feet close to you. Sending out through the knees, opening up through the hips, breathing. And we'll release the feet. Let the outer edges of the feet fall right into the earth. Let the knees fall out to the side. Bring a hand to the heart, hand to the belly. Take a couple breaths here for yourself. Feeling the inhales as they fill first the belly and then make their way up to fill the chest. Exhales help you soften. Checking in with the shift. Energetic, physical, mental. And I invite you to stay here in your Supta Baddha Konasana for a nice hip opening Shavasana. If you prefer to lengthen out through the legs, it's always an option. I invite you to find your most comfortable version, most comfortable variation here. Begin to scan through the body. See if there's anywhere else that you just may be holding on to something. Muscles in the face, shoulders, scanning all the way down to the toes. This is your final moment. So take it and be completely present. I hope you guys have a beautiful rest of your day. Take as much time here in your final Shavasana. Get comfy, get cozy, and from the very bottom of my heart to the very bottom of yours, Loka Samasta Sukhinu Bhavantu. Namaste.